Hey, it's me, your boy Eli.
Hey, it's Daniel over here.
Hey, my name's Joe.
And we're the Geek Centurions. We're here to talk about some manga and comics. So, this is our first live show, and yeah, you got a lot of people walking around, a lot of people doing stuff.
Yeah, we are at Comicpalooza 2023,
Biggest
and
comic convention in all of Texas. Well, Houston at least. Of course.
Hey man, don't be dogging on Houston. We the best city in Texas.
No, we each time, man. We do better.
Yeah.
listen, Dallas Fort Worth ain't got nothing on us, right?
No. We're way better than Austin than that.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Austin. I mean, you know, you got some things there, but not. I mean, Houston's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I'd rather be in Houston.
but traffic's probably the one big thing, right?
Traffic in Austin's worse.
No, I agree. There's too many one-way streets in Austin. It's just not the best. Right?
Yeah. So, what our live episode right now is going to be about our thoughts on what originally, what I thought it was going to be is essentially the whole comics and manga thing. In my opinion, it's kind of the dumbest take ever. It's like, hey, which is better, manga or comics? They're both sequential storytelling. That's at the end of the day, that's what they are. And a lot of people, we've talked about stuff like this before, with like, like brand loyalty, Xbox, PS5, that sunset. Like people just have their preference, yes. But just because they have a preference doesn't mean it's like, oh, one's legitimately better. It's just a preference, right?
Yeah.
Like, Daniel, I feel like you are more into the manga than comics.
Oh yeah, like damn, I'm stuttering. Anyway, so yeah, you'll find.
We're live, dude. I'm nervous too.
Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I tend to read manga more often than comics, but I still like comics, man. There's good comic books out there. There's great stories, not a lot of people know about.
Just the other day, you bought Watchmen because you've never read Watchmen, apparently.
No, I heard great things about Watchmen. I heard the movies were good. I think people said the HBO show was good, and I was like, "What? I want to get into this, but
Yeah.
I really want to read the source material first."
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna be like, why the fuck did they change that? Why did they change the squid? But no, yeah. Enjoy. You're kind of like in the middle between us, because I do tend to read more comics nowadays than I did manga. I still jump back and forth, of course, but
I thought you meant that I was in the middle between you guys, because I'm literally in the middle between you guys.
That wasn't planned at all.
I mean, I don't know. But yeah, no, I definitely understand. Yeah, I think I dabble in both.
Yeah.
Read either or sometimes. I have what was it? No, it's not Doomsday Clock. It's the event before Doomsday Clock in DC.
Oh, Rebirth.
Yeah, DC Rebirth. I have that in my room somewhere. I still need to read that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a couple things around.
And so where I want to begin at is that, hey, these two medium, graphic novels, I guess they'd probably be the better option, are more similar than they are different, to most people's surprise. And I think where it really comes from is this idea that comics is just superhero stuff, right?
Yeah.
And granted, we are in a Comicpalooza, and there's like 150 Jokers, 150 Superman, Spider-Mans, whatever. I mean, Spider-Verse is coming out next week. Of course, people are going to be like thinking about it kind of a bit. There's a lot of other like comics out there that talk about other things, right?
Yeah.
So we were just talking to a vendor, me and Daniel, the other day, over there at Space Cadets Comics. You guys go check that place out. That's awesome. It's right up in Woodlands. We were talking about this book that was kind of a banned book because it was like all about queer theory and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, and so that's something that you probably wouldn't hear about often because it's an independent book. Yeah, but also you'd find stuff like that in almost any kind of comics. Also, there's themes like that in like manga, but people don't want to talk about that. And now that's a little more on like, political side, but we're talking about like how they both are two mediums that will talk about things that are stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah, I get it, man.
Yeah.
Because there's a similar issue kind of with manga as well. I don't know the full details of it. I just know the surface level of it. Like, so whenever they're making, like yaoi or yuri mangas, they can only do so at a certain degree without labeling themselves as something. I don't remember what it was, but if they do it so far, then it's considered like an LGBT book, and it kind of makes it a harder sell for it in Japan for those books.
Really?
Yeah, like I said, I only know a little bit of the surface level. I just heard about
I mean,
it.
we're all surface level knowledge, right?
Yeah.
But like, no, keep going. That's an interesting thing. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so well, there's interesting like LGBT stories here in the western side with comics, but also some interesting stories in the east with manga. But it's also one thing to know, like sometimes you have to label yourself a little bit differently, because if they put yourself in a way where it's seen as a book that could be help contributing for the LGBT plus, you have to be put in a specific section of a store or something like that, and it kind of makes it a harder sell, to be sold to people.
And it's kind of crazy because like whenever people talk about like manga being more inclusive, they always bring up stuff like Sailor Moon, right? Because there's the story between the two sisters,
I think it's
cousins in the American dub. But no, in
talk
reality,
about making things weirder, in the U.S., right?
That could be another episode we do out here live. The weird censorships they do in America. Yeah, but no, because there was also and later on in that story about the thing they're called the Star Scouts, like the clearly they are meant to be like gender transition characters.
Like I wouldn't know that much about it. I would ask my cousin. She's a big fan of Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I think
there's some trans characters in there, I think.
Yeah, no, I understand. And so like. And that's kind of like where I'm going at, right? Because like some people would think that there's a difference, but there really isn't, right? That they're both sort of mediums that kind of have to go through some stuff to get published.
Yeah.
Like we all know about like the stories of Japan, like mangas getting axed halfway because like, hey, it wasn't selling well, and you get that stuff too here in America, and in regular comics. Some comics don't even last more than 5 issues.
No,
even the big name ones from Marvel or DC, they don't really get like a longevity unless they get like the sales. I've read manga that are like, oh man, I'm really enjoying this, and like it's over. Like, wait, what? And I look at the comments and like, oh no, yeah, they got axed. But why? Why would they do that? Like, it was so good.
It happens, man. It sucks, but it happens.
Yeah. And you see that a lot in comics too. Like, even some before they were even born, right? But like, it always like really weirded me out that we had to like essentially try to make it this sort of them versus us. And obviously, we're here not to talk about that, right? Because like we both love this kind of medium. And heck, we're here talking in a live podcast about it, so why not, right?
Yeah, it's I think it's always been like sort of like people like to like have like things that are like you have to pick one or the other thing. I think I mentioned this before when we talked about like console war stuff. It's like, as much as I find it kind of dumb, like I kind of get it. Like people like to be in like special little groups and stuff, right? It's like like I want to be with the cool guys, and what's cool right now? Manga or whatever, right? Like, so let's just downplay comics and stuff. And it's like, well, I mean, both are different mediums, but you can tell a lot of cool stories with them. And yeah, you can have some pretty bad ones, but there's some like good comics or good mangas. Just like like there's a lot of things that either one can like learn from each other, right?
And I've read some really bad ones. Some stuff that I'm like, who published this? Who allowed this to happen? Who do I gotta talk to? Do I have to pull out my Karen? Let's not do any Karen's jokes today. I don't want to do any of that. But no, there's been a couple of examples in my mind, right, where certain mangas that would do stuff that made me go like, I'm surprised we were able to go there, right? I think you and Daniel, we were here the other day. We were talking to a vendor who was selling some comics, and she was talking to you about Watchmen, right? Because you haven't read Watchmen.
No, I haven't at all.
You don't know, subpar bits of Watchmen.
Like, right? I know some of the characters, like I know Dr. Manhattan, the comedian, Mozart.
Because of the memes and all, and the movies, right?
That and the Saturday morning cartoon by Harry Partridge.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a funny one. But yeah, she even gave you like a warning, like, hey, there's going to be some stuff in this comic that might not fly for you. And you're like, to be fair, I read Berserk.
Yeah. I mean, Berserk is a dark fantasy, and if you read Berserk before, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, so like, that's kind of the thing. Like, you know, we're giving out like small tidbit examples, but they're small tidbit examples that, like, you know, essentially, you know, give the idea of what we're talking about. They're not as different as people would like to assume. I think it's just like Joey was saying, it's very much like it's from a different world, from a different part of the world. Of course it's different, but it's like, no, they go through the same hurdles and, you know, problems as we did, because like for Western comics, you know, they had a lot of censorship issues ever since what was the name of that book that one guy wrote? I'm blanking out on it. But like he was the one who essentially started the whole like censorship of comics, because back then they used to go out really nuts with comics. Remember, the most popular like genre of it was horror, and wasn't there like a famous like comic that taught you how to pick a lock or something?
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was one that's like that. So like, if you ever wanted to pick a lock, yeah, this comic told you how to pick a lock. Like, they went into that much detail.
Yeah, that established, what was it, the Comics Code Authority? Right?
Yeah. So that started like a whole censorship, and that's why like you see like a lot of like censored stuff. And of course, there's some comics out there that like say fuck that, and, you know, start doing their own stuff. Manga themselves have been censored before, and like there's been like the whole youth protection.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I can give you some example. Like, yeah, like as you were saying, the youth protection.
Yeah.
So over here, it's kind of normal to hear stories, you know, like, you know, during a bad, you know, neighborhood or anything like that. So you see like younger characters smoking, drinking, or doing like illegal substances.
Yeah.
But in Japan, they have very strict rules about that. So, for example, in one of my favorite series, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh yeah, I know this.
Jotaro, he's a high school delinquent, and he's known to smoke.
Yeah.
And so whenever he appears on screen, I'm not sure how it affected him. I think this was before he started doing it.
Yeah.
If you watch the anime, for example, there's like a black shadow covering Jotaro's mouth, at least. You can still see his eyes, but you can't. Him smoking with his mouth is basically blacked out.
Does Sanji still smoke in the manga? I don't remember.
Which one?
Sanji from One Piece.
No, I'm pretty sure what are you talking about? He always has a lollipop in his mouth.
Shut up, you. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I know it's kind of like sacrilegious, but I kind of thought the whole lollipop thing made a lot more sense than smoking.
He is a chef, you know.
Yeah. So he's searching for the flavor.
Yeah. And
Flavor Town.
Yeah.
It's another example I could think of as well. I think it's more into like the whole how illegal substances like marijuana.
I don't know how long it was recording. Well, actually, no, it was recording about like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 12:50 something. So I'm probably gonna have to see what if we did miss anything there.
Well, I feel like we will be fine.
Hey, listen, it's live. For, you know, live podcast panels, these things happen. You know, a lot of technical difficulties.
Yeah, nothing bad.
It's gonna be fun in the editing process, though. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah. Oh man, but like, no, I'm saying like to one of the more recent like things where like, you know, the level of censorship that, you know, even manga has to deal with. Do you remember the My Hero situation with the doctor?
Remind me.
So
I think I know this. Yeah.
The doctor originally was supposed to be named after an actual like character who committed war crimes.
Oh, I see.
And during it was the Korean one of the wars that Japan was in, and like they were like, hey, no, you got to change that, because remember they also don't like the idea of like, well, people know that we did this shit.
Oh yeah.
So that's one thing. So that's kind of like now granted that's kind of understandable, but also kind of like messed up if you think about it in a way too. It's like, hey, you can't be like doing that kind of stuff, because like one, it affects the story, but also like, yeah, even manga has to deal with censorship. Even manga has to deal with this issue of like trying to get like a thing published, because like, while I feel like in manga, I feel like it's more likely for you to find something find a way to get published, because there's a lot like they accept the more webtoons kind of stuff, more like online manga shit. But like to really like, you know, hit the mark to sell a book is still kind of a difficult area.
Yeah, you need to be involved with like whatever those daily magazine stuff like Shonen Jump and all that thing. Yeah. So
you even have to be scouted by like one of their editors, and like to be a part of like a big thing.
Yeah, you got to keep up the process with the weekly updates. You know, like that's always I think the thing about comics and manga, right? Like comics are often like Like, I want to say they're like monthly issues, right? Generally, right?
Like bi-weekly, I would say, bi-weekly to monthly.
Bi-weekly to monthly, yeah.
Mangas can be either weekly or monthly.
Yeah, but
it can really depend. 'Cause sometimes a writer can go on hiatus, and we would have to wait a long time, or even a short amount of time. It just depends.
Yeah,
I feel like you're referencing a certain manga artist for a certain popular manga
I mean,
recently. You know.
I mean, technically I am, but it could be literally any writer. So
Yeah.
the guy behind Berserk, he's infamously known to take a lot of hiatuses.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rest in
R.I.P.
peace.
buddy.
And then recently, after JoJolion ended, Hidehiko Araki took a hiatus as well, just to take a break before he started working on JoJo Lands.
Which makes sense,
Right,
and
right,
even
yeah.
and that's something I feel like you don't tend to hear a lot in the world of comics. Like, yeah, they have like more time to write out the story. Granted, I think it's also because like you get to put in color and words into the wording and all that stuff. But like one of the things that I really like kind of like appreciate from like the world of manga is that they're at least able to give their guys a break, right? Even if it's like a break they should have had a long time ago. Because you remember Kishimoto, the guy who ran Naruto, it wasn't until he ended Naruto that he finally went on a honeymoon with his wife.
Really?
Yeah,
And kid.
I remember hearing
He has
that
a
story.
kid. He had a kid at that time.
Wow.
That's like that's probably like one of the craziest things. I mean, granted, like at the time, like, Naruto super popular, like what, number 2 in the Shonen, right?
Yeah.
Rankings or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the One Piece was still number 1.
Yeah. And
But you know,
that's a juggernaut that they can't take down.
that One Piece has like 1,000 like chapters, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Have you seen like I guess it would be the compendium that they were like trying to sell for a while? The one that was like this size of this table.
No.
Yeah, no, it's nuts.
I feel like it beats Akira, right? Because I think Akira books were like kind of big, right? Or am I thinking about something
They're
else?
lengthy, but I still think maybe One Piece might have more material too.
Oh no, they have way more material. But, again, like that's something like at least I credit to with like in the world of manga, like that they're able to at least understandably give their guys a time of break because like the working conditions is kind of questionable at sometimes. For because then the mentality of like you got to keep working in Japan, it can be really deadly.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of cases like that, and so you don't hear that here because like at least there's a level of like not too stressed too much out on that work, which is like fair, but it's also understandable. Like okay, we need to take you off this book because I'm thinking of like some of the more recent comics where like they had like writers be on there. And they had to take them off because, like, okay, you're not able to meet up quota, and we'll still let you finish off a certain amount, but like, we're gonna take you off and get someone else in, like handling a new writing team. Like that's what happened with like the Hulk when Donny Cates and Ryan Otley were in it. Donny Cates and him having to leave, and they gave it to a new creative team, and Ryan Otley was able to finish the book, but like. And that's something I'm at least glad. Like, hey, you need time.
Yeah.
And sadly, we can't wait for you forever. But take your time. We'll have someone else do it. Don't worry about it. It'll be done. Kind of shit. So that's something I'm very proud. I wouldn't say proud. I want to say proud, but I don't mean proud. But like kind of like thankful that they're at least able to do that kind of stuff with like comics from comics, like you need the time, take the time. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Going back to like even in like the world of manga, right? I'm gonna check it because I heard it click again.
Did you hear it click?
I heard it click.
I can double check.
Yeah. Camera issues, man. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of like a manga that is it good? Okay, so just making sure.
No, we're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
We're fine.
I should have invested in like a little button and like that way, But anyways, besides that point, Yankee, you were saying?
So one of the things that I think about whenever people talk about this sort of comparison, right, is that hey, and we might have talked about this a bit earlier, is that I feel, and this it's something I feel like even comics can learn, like the ability to write about anything and like just have it as mundane as it can be. Like I'm thinking about like, some of the slice of life like mangas that I really enjoy reading. like Komi Can't Communicate. This other one I can't remember off the top of my head. It's because I haven't read it in a while. But like stuff like that, like you find more things like that. I feel like in manga because it's like more normal. I rarely find stuff like that in comics, and I've tried to find like some slice of life comics, but they're always kind of like very far between kind of stuff.
I feel like the closest thing to that would be like looking at webcomic stuff, you know, like
yeah, the rise of webcomics and stuff.
like that sort of stuff has a lot more like I guess what you're looking for, like slice of life stuff.
Yeah,
Because like there was like those old,
Like,
I don't know, there's a lot of old comics like that.
I feel like
on
you may
websites
have
like
to look deep for maybe like the longer lasting comics, like maybe Archie comics, for example.
that's fair.
Yeah, I think Archie comics would be like
Yeah.
closer to like slice
I
of
mean,
life.
yeah, granted they branded out to weird stuff like Archie against the Punisher, the Predator, but
That second Archer vs. Predator was so bad. I'm sorry.
yeah, I'll trust you on that.
I'm just waiting for when Riverdale adapts that storyline. I know they don't really have the rights to the Predator, but I really want to see something
Well,
like
the
that
show
happen.
ended, dude.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Damn it. This is why I don't keep track of TV
Yeah, a lot
anymore.
of CW stuff are ending.
Yeah, Flash ended just this week, right? Or was it last week?
Yeah, the Arrowverse ended.
Yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P. Arrowverse. I hardly knew ye, but
Hardly knew you.
but you were pretty all right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you're right. And that's kind of my point. Like, I feel like it's because like there's like such a high, you know, stuff like Marvel and DC kind of take over a lot of it. You kind of don't tend to see a lot of this independent stuff because the independent stuff is kind of like buried underneath all that stuff. Yeah, like because it's like Marvel, DC, then it's like Image, then Dark Horse, and then Boom, and then some other stuff that I don't even know.
Yeah.
So it's like I think that's one thing I feel like comics kind of need to do. Well, not just like main ones, but more like, hey, we need to find a way to promote these books because no one finds them.
Yeah.
Like the book that we were talking about earlier, the one that was technically banned for interpretation of LGBT stuff. I didn't even knew that book existed. I didn't know it was around at all. And then like the vendor was like, yeah, no, that's been here for a while. And then this is the reason it got banned. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I kind of want to read it. Yeah, which kind of, defeats the purpose of it being banned, right?
Well, I mean that's a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean,
you don't want to put a book ban because it just draws attention to it.
Oh yeah, it
I mean,
does.
just look at what happened back in the 80s when the heavy metal scene was scaring parents. They added the parental advisory sticker and that only increased sales of the CDs and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah. Or like even what was it? I guess to get a little bit more historical, when they banned alcohol back in the 20s or whatever.
Yeah, Prohibition era.
Yeah, Prohibition era stuff. Yeah, and then it's like, well, we're just gonna illegally make alcohol and just sell it and make tons of money.
Speaking of banned, they even I can't remember where I read it, but they even banned manga. Like some mangas have been banned for its depictions of like a lot of stuff, and like even PTA groups in Japan were like, hey, we don't like any of these books in the libraries that kids can reach. And apparently that was a lot of like Gonagai manga. So like the guy who made like Devilman.
Oh yeah. Violence Jack.
Violence Jack. And
Astro Boy, right?
No. That's Tezuka.
Yeah.
Osamu Tezuka. But like Gonagai's apparently like a lot of Gonagai's mangas were banned from school. And I read the original like Devilman, like the stuff that would have and like Devilman Crybaby is more of like a modern representation of like that manga.
Yeah, I figured as much, right?
Because like there's a lot of stuff in there that's like, okay, that didn't happen, but you're trying to modernize it, so I'm perfectly fine. There's no characters like that. But yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, okay, wow, you went there. And I read a little bit of Violence Jack, and that's just like edgy to the max. I even read like Devilman Lady, and I was like, wow, that's a way to end the manga. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm just like, the level of mental gymnastics I have to do to understand what just happened is kind of nuts. Also, yeah, it's one of those I'm like, I wouldn't be okay with a kid reading it, but like for it being banned, I'm like, no, I don't think it needs to be banned. Yeah. But yeah, no, that happens even in that side of the world. Which I thought was kind of crazy because like you never hear that. But then again,
yeah, because when you think about a lot of manga stuff, like I mean, look how gory some stuff in manga is, like Attack on Titan and whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
kind of
it
crazy.
does.
Like when it comes to like,
And-
there's a limit, I guess, even in Japan.
It's funny, and it's because like even like a lot of people were like promoting because like, hey, it's more adult. It's like there's like blood and guts and stuff. But it's that just because it has all that doesn't mean technically it's adult. It's still kind of like kiddish if you think about it, right? Like a very silly and over the top kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of ways you can handle gore and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like so. Yeah, surprisingly enough, that like I said, there's a lot of similarities, especially with the way it's treated on that side of the world where it is here, and like I think the reason why you tend to see more like manga is because like one, they look very, but yeah, no, it's like it's a lot of quality things when it comes to the paper. So I think that's one thing. Because I was talking about this to a guy at Barnes and Noble's. He was like, hey, yeah. Because I was like, hey, I remember you guys were doing like a 2-for-1 sale on graphic novels. Are you guys gonna do that again? And he's like, no, that was like a distributor thing because they're trying to like sell books and stuff.
Yeah.
But like the reason why like we don't do that often is because like the printing is really kind of super cost effective. Hence why like printing for manga is so much easier because it's one, no color, just black and white.
Yeah.
Two, paper quality is kind of one, not but not the same as like something you get from trade paperback kind of stuff. But yeah, no, we're getting close to the end here. We got another 10 minutes. How about this? Let's make it fun. Daniel, tell me some of your favorite mangas and your favorite comics. Tell me some of your favorite comics and manga.
My favorite comics
Yeah.
and manga. Okay, so one right here, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
No shit.
Yeah, up front center, everybody.
Yeah, and actually, like, I do have one more thing to say how they're similar between comics and manga.
Go for it.
Okay, so tell me this: what is the biggest question people ask when they ask you, like, how should I get into comic books? Like,
Where do I start? Right?
Yeah, where do I start?
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
where do I
fair
start?
enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so the same thing with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It became popular now, and lots of people they come up to me like, "Hey, dude, I know you like JoJo's a lot, so tell me, what's a good place to start?"
Well, ideally you can start.
Like
You gotta start at part 1, or you can start whatever
I mean,
part. 'Cause they're all-
technically, you can start at part 3 if you want, but I think it's more important to go to part 1 first because
Yeah,
the main,
there's that shit.
the main
Yeah,
villain in
yeah,
part
I was
3
gonna
is
say,
Dio.
that one-
and if you want to know more of his backstory
Yeah.
and why he's like this, you want to go ahead and read part 1.
Skip part 2, then go to 3.
And basically, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So yeah, you can go ahead and start with part 3, but
Yeah.
you're not gonna know where to start, what's gonna happen. And same thing with comics. I mean, like you're reading a comic book, it's like, why? How does this happen? It tells you like in a little small box. It's like, oh yeah, it happened at this issue for this character over there. And then same thing. Not a lot of people like. I'm surprised about this because this was one of the biggest things I've been hearing recently with Dragon Ball characters is that you don't see a lot of development with like with Piccolo or Goku or like any like the long-standing characters. And the reason for that is because we were introduced to Dragon Ball Z first.
Yeah.
For most of us.
Yeah.
We grew up watching Dragon Ball Z on Cartoon Network and everything. So we didn't get to see a lot of development that happened in the original series.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball.
you didn't know that Piccolo was technically Piccolo Jr.
Yeah, like originally like.
Or that he
Piccolo
was the
a villain.
Demon King or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so there were like so much stuff that we missed out because we were pretty much forced to start with Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, see, that's always the one like sticking point that a lot of people like to talk about when it comes to manga and comics. Like, oh yeah, manga is just easy. You just read the first volume or whatever. Comics, you gotta go like this specific comic. Do you even want to get that thing? But it's like
See, the
no.
way-
Like,
so,
when you think about like Dragon Ball, right? Like no one ever reads the first Dragon Ball. You just go straight to Z.
like unless you're a hardcore fan or happen to be like someone that caught up with everything, then yeah, you're not gonna know.
So like the way I usually tell people that is like, yeah, if you like this certain book, just read this, and then follow what the writer has written before, right? Like that's what happened with me. Funny enough, here at Comicpalooza, when I started reading Venom by Donny Cates, and then I started like jumping into like every book that he wrote, and I'm like, I'm a fan now.
Yeah.
I got that same comic sign here in Comicpalooza too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's some series in manga that can get a little bit complex. For example, I don't know what's the official name for the franchise, but I can name you like 2 of the series: a certain magical index and a certain scientific railgun.
Oh fuck. That's a long thing. I don't even try to. But yeah, to go on before we finish up, Joey, any favorite comics, manga you got?
Favorite comics manga. I really like the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That was pretty good. In terms of manga, I mean, obviously, I agree with you. Daniel JoJo's pretty great.
Yeah, like so.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, sorry, let me just go put it in the comic because I think I only said a manga. So
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, my favorite manga, and then for comic, it's a tough one. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You go ahead and
You take your time. For in terms of manga though, manga JoJo's comics. Ultimate Spider-Man. Right.
That's what you said. I was like, why are you repeating yourself?
But it's again, like if I can try to remember to read more manga, I will though.
Yeah. One of my favorite mangas of all time. And no, Joey, it's not Gundam the Origin.
No, I wasn't even gonna mention that. What are you talking about?
Like, is it Spice and Wolf?
What? No.
That's another favorite of mine.
What?
That's a really good one. That's a really good one.
I can't wait for the remake or whatever it is. I'm glad it's back.
So one of my favorite mangas is actually Z-Man.
Oh.
Yeah, I love that manga. I'm kind of upset how it kind of not ended, but it just kind of like left me in the cliffhanger, where I'm just like, why? I mean, Berserk, obviously, not because I just saw Berserk cosplayer walking around. Hello. Gundam the Origin, yes, because that's like one of my favorite mangas. It's a retelling of the original Gundam series. But if I were to talk about one of my favorite comics, it would probably be Immortal Hulk. That one was so good.
I was trying to think of one. The Immortal Hulk was a good one.
Immortal Hulk run was so good. Right now, another one would probably be Silver Surfer Black.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were telling me a lot about that one.
Yeah, I love that book. If I were to recommend any of the comics, I recommend Silver Surfer Black the most. That one was pretty good.
Okay, I came out with some examples.
Tell me.
So for the comic side, Batman White Knight.
Oh, that was a good one.
It's an interesting story of where Batman is viewed as a villain and the Joker is viewed as a hero. And then another one of mine, I still need to finish it, but it's already became a favorite of mine. But Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
You gotta love those stuff, right?
Yeah, you gotta love that.
So just imagine Deadpool instead of being a funny wisecracking guy.
Yeah.
I mean, same mannerism and everything, but it's a little off, and he has a weird homicidal tendency to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw one comic that I think we all enjoyed. Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim
was so good.
No, great. Absolutely perfect.
I can't wait for the anime.
Amazing series, amazing movie. The anime series coming out soon.
With the original cast, that's crazy.
Yeah, with the same cast as the movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's gonna be the end of it, guys. We had fun. This is our first ever live session, and hopefully we get to do more. It's gonna be like a huge thing for us. We're happy to have everyone here, everyone who's listening, everyone walking by. Happy we were able to do this. We're gonna explore more of the con, obviously, because we have a lot of stuff we want to do.
I think one last thing though, we need to explain what the hell you two are dressed up as.
Oh yeah.
So I magically grew my hand back, but if you don't know, I am Ash Williams from the Evil Dead series. Hail to the King, baby.
Hail to the King. So I'm dressed up as El Chavo del Ocho.
Yeah, very deep cut. Well, I wouldn't say deep cut Mexican thing. I think most Mexicans know who El Chavo is.
So not just Mexican, literally the entirety of Latin America, even Portuguese-speaking countries like Brazil.
Yeah. I wish I could have gotten this little backpack stick thing, like the little homeless thing, just to fit it. But I'm like, I don't got time for that. Plus, I got to carry actual stuff.
Yeah, we have actual things we need to carry.
Yeah. But no, guys,
could you carry it in that bag though?
No.
Oh. Well. Sorry.
No, none of that. Shame on you. But yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. We're having glad to be here. We're gonna go out and further have fun. We're gonna thank everyone here at Comicpalooza for having us here.
Yeah, we want to thank to all the people that are kind enough to check us out. Sit in the audience, see what we like to talk about and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, we are very much a podcast dedicated to talking about the stuff that we like, and it can be some random ass stuff. And yeah, if you want to hear that kind of stuff, let us know. If you have any ideas, just let us know. But we be sure to, thank you for all you guys who are out here. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the Geek Centurions. We're most active on Instagram, where you can find the podcast links to the podcast we're officially part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. We have a YouTube link for all you audio listeners out there, or any of you guys out there who like want to check us out right now. At the Geek Centurions, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's about it, guys. I think we're just 2 minutes off, but it's fine. We can end it early. But anyways, it's been me, your boy Eli.
It's been me, Joe.
And it's me, Daniel.
And thank you for you guys for having us here. We'll happily be back next year, and hopefully you guys have a great Comicpalooza. Yeah, you guys have a good one. Peace.